Good afternoon, we are Team 7 and we are going to explain you about the country of Gales, its tradition, custom, historical setting, etc. Let's start with exhibitions. Gales. Gales constituting unit of the United Kingdom that forms a westward extension of the island of Great Britain. The capital and main commercial and financial centre is Cardiff. Famed for its rugged landscapes, the small nation of Gales which comprises six distinctive regions, was on Celtic Europe's most prominent political and cultural centres, and it retains aspects of culture that are markedly different from those of its English neighbours. Now we carry on with the tradition of Gales. Gales is country that clings tightly to its culture and traditions. It's a country rich with story, myths and legends, and music, literature, and poetry. Yes, many nations hide as rich a culture heritage as Wales, but for us Welsh, it holds a particularly special place in your hearts.
St. David's Day. This time of the year in particular is extra special for the Welsh. The 1st of March marks St. David's Day or Deadly Dewi Saint. David is the patron saint of Wales, a 6th century bishop thought to be the grandson of the King of Ceredigion. David is credited with establishing Christianity in Wales and is associated with learning and kindness to others. On St. David's Day, school children are encouraged to mimic David's kindness by doing their own small acts, such as helping wash the dishes or tidying their rooms. Like all good saints, David made more than his fair share of miracles. One of the best known happened at Llandewi Briefing in Mind Wales when a small hill rose on the spot he was preaching, and if Wales needed more hills. Another more gruesome is the miracle of the corpse candles. David prayed that his people would have forewarning for their death, so they could prepare for the afterlife and would grant his wishes. The people of Wales will be forewarned by the dim light of mysterious tapers when and where the dead might be expected. Legends has it a corpus candle, a glowing light or ball of flames, appears close to the home of the son to be disguised. Today towns, villages and schools across Wales celebrate St. David's Day with parades in traditional costumes and the wearing of Wales' national emblems, the daffodil for males and the leek for males. Let's continue our theme of culture and traditions in honor of St. David's by taking a closer look at some of the most popular Welsh traditions. Love spoons, Ilwi carved. These are wooden spoons with intricate designs carved into them. The designs all have special meanings and are meant to convey a message to the recipient. Traditionally, love spoons were carved by young men and presented to the women they loved as a token of their affection. The wooden spoons also signified that they were scaled and clamped with their hands. In other words, good husband's material. Different carvings have different meanings. Bells are of symbol of weddings and anniversaries. Crosses show faith, hearts show love, and so on.
Calangif. November 1 is known today to the Catholic Church as All Saints' Day, but within Celtic tradition. It was always celebrated on the first day of winter. The Church took this pagan tradition, as it did many others, and made it a holiday. During the medieval period, Calangif was a harvest festival. The night before, Nos Galangif was a moment when the veil between the human world and the world of the spirits thinned. Nos Galangif has become the modern Halloween. The harvest had been gathered in. Excess livestock had been culled or killed off and put into storage for the coming year. It was very much a communal festivity, a time for celebration and enjoyment. Everyone, from the farmer to the lowest cowhand, had participated in growing crops and keeping the animals, and now they would celebrate together. Often this manifested itself in the traditions such as the harvest mare. Corn would be fashioned into the shape of a horse and hung about the herd. But getting the harvest mare to the house was a cause for horseplay, the origin of the term. When women tried to prevent it coming inside, soaking it with water, and the men attempted to keep it dry. In Wales, 1st November, the first day of the winter, was called Calangive. The night before, in the eve of the day, was narrated to as Nos Calangive or occasionally Spirit Night, and many traditions gradually grew up around the festival. Almost inevitably, they were connected with all things frightening or disconcerting. Now we're going to talk about gastronomy. For years, Wales has offered visitors wondrous sights unlike anywhere else in the UK. Tourists will experience anything from the retina scratching, mountainous ranges of Snowdonia and the otherworldly uniqueness of Permiron, to the wild and gloriously windswept Pembrokeshire coast and the fabulously expensive golden beaches of the Grower Peninsula. The great food traditions of Wales stretch back centuries and often reflect an alchemic talent for cooking up something memorable from meager ingredients. The country also benefits from a prodigious natural bounty sourced from land and sea. Welsh rarebit. Providing etymologists with a headache for centuries, it was originally known as Welsh rabbit, though at no point was rabbit one of the ingredients. This is quite simple. The world's finest cheese on toast. Individual cooks and experts will insist on certain casting conditions, debating everything from the thickness of the toast to whether or not to add paprika. A personal, purist tangerine tip will be to use the flavor packet bear and mustard cheese by Fanny, a cheese variety from Bergamasque, instead of the usual strong cheddar. You can always give it a French-style croque madame treatment and serve it with a fried egg on top, and at which point it becomes book rarebit.
Glamorgan sausage. The search for the perfect vegetarian alternative to the great breakfast banger was called off the southernmost tip of South Wales, where these intensely flavored cheese sausages were created. The Glamorgan cheese that have the sausage their name no longer exists and has since been replaced by the intense, crumbly white alternative from Nerby Carpelli. Traditional dress. What does Welsh national dress look like? The popular image of Welsh national dress of a woman in a red woolen cloak and tall black hat is one which largely developed during the 19th century. It was part of a conscious revival of Welsh culture during a period when traditional values were under threat. Where did the style come from? The costume regarded as national dress is based on clothing worn by Welsh countrywomen during the early 19th century, which was a striped flannel petticoat worn under a flannel open-fronted backgown, with an apron, shawl on kerchief or cap. A style of background varied with loose-cut like gowns, gowns with a fitted bodice, and long skirts, and also the short gown, which was very similar to a riding habit style.
And that will be all from news. Thank you very much.